Okay, and the last example I'm going to show you is number 4. So the first two kind of take on the same type of question there, and then 3 and 4 on the back page there kind of are very similar in itself. Again, at the end of this, in the Mondays folder, I am posting all of the solutions to this, so you can kind of go back through all of that, but I'm kind of explicitly going through questions 1 and 4. All right, so number 4 here. Suppose your community center sells a total of 292 tickets for a basketball game. An adult ticket costs $3 and a student ticket costs $1. After the game, the sponsors collected $470 in ticket sales. How many adult and how many students attended the game? So again, that last sentence usually kind of gives you a giveaway of what it is they're trying to find here. Again, we can let this be X and Y, but keep it simple. Use the variable that it's kind of representing. So the two things that we don't know is the number of adults. So we're dealing with adults. I'm just going to let that be A. And we don't know the number of students. So questions 3 and 4 here are a little bit trickier. I don't think it gives you as much information as 1 and 2 does. We kind of have to go back in and find it a little bit more here, okay? But it does give us two different ways adults and students are represented here, okay? So I would definitely encourage, reread this sentence a couple of times to really get a feel of what, kind of is going on in this word problem, okay? So again, it gave us two different ways to represent adults and students. It gave us ticket sales. Okay, so we're going to write an equation for ticket sales, but it also talked about price. Oh, let's use a different color there. Also talked about price. All right, so the very first sentence says, suppose your community center sells a total of 292 tickets to the game. Everything else talks about price. So this is the only thing that is represented by the amount of tickets. A total of 292 tickets. So it's telling you a total. So in the end, these ticket sales have to be equal to 292. Well, what is it that is equal to this 292? Who are the only people we are selling tickets to? Okay, well, the only people that bought tickets are the amount of adults plus the amount of students. Okay, so again, 3 and 4 kind of take on this little form. The only thing they kind of give you is this little piece right here, a total of 292 tickets. But again, ticket sales, right? We have a total, and the only thing that kind of contributes to those ticket sales are the amount of adults and the amount of students. Okay, so the next sentence I think kind of goes right in line with the other word problems that you have seen. Okay, adult ticket costs $3. A student ticket costs $1. And in the end, we have a total of $470. Okay, so again, in the end, we know we need to have $470. But, how do we get there? What is contributing to that factor? Well, again, it says adult tickets are $3. So for every adult ticket purchased, we have to add $3 more, right? So that's going to be a multiplication there. 3 times the amount of adults. Each adult's worth $3. Plus, right, we're adding a total cost here, plus the amount of student tickets. Okay, well, student tickets is 1. So I'm just going to say plus 1S, or we can just say S. Okay, so again, this definitely gets a little bit trickier. This bottom equation should have been okay, right? We've been dealing with price from the other examples before, but this blue equation with ticket sales, understand that the only thing contributing to the 292 tickets sold is the amount of adults and the amount of students. All right, so now we've got our system of equations. Again, we've talked about our different methods, equal value, substitution, elimination. If you really like the substitution method or the equal value method, we could get these S's to a side by itself, But I don't know. The more efficient I think you become with the elimination, I think the better off you can be. Okay, so we have a lot of variety here we could do. Okay, we could very easily make this 1a look like a -3, right? All we would have to do is multiply by a -3. But look at these s's. Okay, so they're both a +1. Okay, how do we make a +1 look like a -1? All we have to do, it really doesn't even matter which one we pick here, but I'm just going to take the top one, and I'm going to multiply that by -1. Okay, because when I multiply by -1, this s now becomes a -s. Now we have the -s over +s, right? The coefficients of my variable there are opposite, which is perfect, which is exactly what we want in elimination. So I'm going to distribute this -1. So this is going to be a -292. -1 to a is a -a. -1 to s is a -s. Okay, so now I've got my purple and my black equation. It's exactly what we want. Look at my s's, right? We've got opposite coefficients. Now we're ready to add and eliminate that s variable. Okay, so on the left here, I've got 470 minus the 292, which is 178. 3a minus 1a means you have 2 a's. And then s minus s, right, that's going to eliminate. That's going to go away, which is exactly what we wanted. Okay, so now I got to get a to a side by itself. Remember, that's multiplication, so we're going to divide. So the 178 divided by 2 is 89. A equals 89. Okay, again, these are not just variables. There's a meaning to this. Remember, we saw that a is 89. Well, we let a be the number of adults. So when a equals 89, well, we just figured out that 89 adults attended this community basketball game. Okay, but also wanted the amount of students. So I've got a being 89. I've got 3 equations, right? I've got this blue, I've got this purple, now I've got this black. Again, we need to substitute back in to find the value of s. Again, I would not use black. This is an equation you kind of altered a little bit. Go back into one of the originals. Again, find the smaller numbers, find the less negatives, whatever one you feel is easiest. This blue guy has way smaller numbers, so I'm going to take that one. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite 292 is equal to adults, but we know how many adults. We just solved for that. There were 89 adults plus the amount of students. Well, if there were a total of 292 people, I'm going to take away those 89 adults. So 292 minus the 89 adults tells me 203. Meaning that there were 203 students that attended the game. All right, so like I said, I kind of went through that worksheet that you see at the top. I went through how to do questions 1 and 4. Question 2 is very similar to question 1, and question 3 there is very similar to question 4. I will be posting the answers to those as well if you refer back. Remember, don't be afraid to reach out. I'm always available. All right, thanks.